Obia Anthony Boasi, one after the other, all roads in Ghana will be tackled. Demonstrations, people can draw our attention to the critical roles that they have. There's nothing wrong with that. But people should remain cooperative, should remain calm, and should work with my ministry and its agencies throughout the 16 regions of the country, and that we are working for the people of this country. We are determined, say a fixing all roads, but nobody will be able to mean set agenda. And my say agenda be na say a papa a constructive. Na say be careful, nyansa ewo mu a. Why not? You be cooperative with you. But please don't take camera and come and stand here. Those who want to embark on that route, honor me ministry, Ochina. Remember the bad roads are working now. Tackle. Now one cross one office or Accra. Now one move from region to region. Now one encore broadcasting. If you know, one they broadcast, they call us, and we are working with them. Journalists, you should help us to develop our nation. This country. Now, from GOG sources are releasing 17 million, to the contractor. No, we are starting with Ghana cedis, okay? And within 6 months, the contractor working on this road is quite resourceful, and that is what is expected with any or from any contractor. Because if you read the contract, binding both the contractor and the employer, contractor is expected to be quite resourceful. Of course, with certified job, it behoves the employer, which is government, also to pay. It's an industry which is capital intensive. So if you are a contractor and you want to embark upon road construction, please, you don't come with empty hands. This contractor has demonstrated that is quite resourceful, and we have released 17 million. The finance minister has directed that 17 million should be released to the company. But it's just about call it 4-5 days ago. So as we speak, I am sure it has matured, and hit their account. They have been on this road for almost 2 weeks now, a little over 2 weeks. So when some of your friends and colleagues were broadcasting from here, they were on the road, but because they don't have the technical eye, the construction eye, they didn't know. Perhaps you are more professional and you follow the ethics. You follow the ethics of your profession. You follow the ethics of your profession, and all of us are supposed to do that. We are all professionals. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm a practicing lawyer, and we also have ethics. And we also have ethics. Okay, right. And I have to be professional. I have to follow the ethics of my profession, and every profession has its own ethics.
So that's the Honorable Roads Minister, Mr. Mwakwata. So we are asking the question on the back of all of this because we are embarking on our media freedom campaign, and the question to you is that: are you comfortable with how the media represents you, and do you think that the media is free to represent you well, to champion the issues that concern you, to tell the stories that matter to you? Do you think that the media is being empowered to do that in this republic? Anyways, guys, we'll move into some other stories making news, and we'll start from the Western region.
We start from your home region,
you see,
where two rival chiefs are at each other's throats, hiring thugs to abduct each other and manhandle them and break bones and legs and things. But the chief who is being accused of orchestrating all of this is denying that he did it. Now, what is happening is that there are these two parts, and I'm sure Daniel understands this. The area is Disc Cove, right?
Yes, Disc Cove.
And there is a lower Disc Cove and there is an upper Disc Cove.
Great.
Now, the upper Disc Cove chief is being alleged, and his He is Obrimpong Himandechi. He's the one who
the 15th. Obrimpong Himandechi the 15th.
Who is alleged to have hired thugs, contracted them so that they will beat up his rival chief last night. And they unleashed terror on the people of Lower Diskov in the Western region, destroyed properties and kidnapped the Oman Hene there, Nana Kwesi Ajman. Now, he has denied this. He said he has no knowledge of these disturbances. He played no role. He's willing to submit himself to the police for whatever investigations that the police wish to conduct into the disturbances that happened. But the police, the Daily Graphic is reporting that the Ahanta West District Police Commander, Deputy Superintendent of Police, Valentin Aposu, said that the preliminary investigations that they themselves have conducted indicated that the thugs who were suspected to have been contracted from Kwesimintim in the Efiam Kwanta, Efia Kwesimintim municipality, Charlie, these are very complicated areas, Daniel. So these thugs, according to the police, were reported to have been contracted from this area to come to the Lower Diskov and then manhandle the chief, the Oman Hene there, and his people. Now, apart from the Oman Hene whom they abducted, they also abducted 4 other people, and then they bound them, tied them up, hid them somewhere. The police, through investigations, were able to recover them. They took them, and they are on a manhunt for the chief, whom they are accusing of orchestrating the disturbances in the area. And we reported this yesterday on Joy News.
Exactly.
News 9 as well.
Exactly, which is why I'm surprised that they're still on a manhunt for Brimpong, because he says that he will report himself to the police. He told us on News Desk and on News Today. And he mentioned that this was a retaliatory attack. The first attack was ignored by the police, and so he claims that the police has been compromised in the region, which is why he had to resort to these methods.
But he says that he has nothing, he has no role at all in
But the man was found in his palace.
Yeah, but the
police found the man in his palace.
In his palace, yes. But he said that he didn't hire the boys who went to abduct the Lower Diskov chief and brought him to his palace.
Fair enough.
He has
but
no rule at all.
If indeed the police are compromised, which is what he claims, it means the acting IGP has a lot of work to do.
Yes, certainly. Of course, when he's taking office today, and we're talking about the president's appointment, because he asked the outgoing or outgone, I don't know what would be the best expression, because the man's taking office, right? So outgone IGP or former IGP, in this case, David Asante appeared to. Now, the current acting IGP was on contract. Remember, in somewhere in October 2018, the president granted a 1-year extension. And for those who might not know Mr. James Opombuenu a lot more, he actually is a lawyer. He went to Doma Secondary School in the 70s. He was born in 1958 and became a lawyer in 1984. He actually, between 1986 and 88, before he started his career in 88 with the police, worked as a legal officer at the legal department of the ADB here in Accra. Then, of course, he went to police training. One of the things that you do recall that Adams Bona, who is a security analyst, has done some wonderful analysis about who was likely to replace David Asante Appiah as IGP. This man, because he was the longest serving of all the people who were deputies to the current IGP or COPs in that particular competence, he would have been the best person to replace, according to Adams Bona. But for the fact that he had no experience on the ground, as in leading people to go and arrest armed robbers and all of that. That is one area that the man Adams Bona said the gentleman Tete Yohonu trumped this particular gentleman. Okay. But hopefully, of course,
and I think his age is also.
Yes, of course. It was also said that he was leaving, but the age was not as important because he scored 0 for actual experience on the ground. Okay. Predominantly, his work has been in the area of administration and managing affairs within the police service.
But some would also argue that leadership really is sometimes it's about the administration more than what happens on the ground.
Brilliant.
Especially in his role.
Especially if you may have somebody to do that groundwork for you. So, but there's been concerns about whether or not this is sacking of David Asante Appiah to, mindful of what was going to happen in court that day, and we know what happened eventually in court. There was some in-camera hearing, and the man himself David Asante Apietu did not appear in court. Apparently, before the court matter became relevant at 3 p.m., he was no longer IGP. But that was clarified that the gentleman was hauled before court for contempt in his person. So his name was not on the list, not the position that he occupied. And whether that made any difference in this particular
So in this case, it wasn't the office, it was
yes,
the person.
it was David Asante Apietu.
Not
so
the
perhaps
office,
address
the
would have
person.
been the IGP underneath that.
Beautiful.
And the other people were also called by name before their positions were attached to that. So that is the latest development on the front of the police. We're hoping that there'll be some massive developments. You know that some had accused David Asante of not being able to see the people who are working in his own office as people who were interested.
But another thing that the new IGP has to look at is the digital forensic laboratory.
Yes, which the police cyber crimes unit does not have, and they say that this is affecting their work to a very great extent. So what they need is a digital forensic laboratory. And they've not had it since 2015 when the Cyber Crimes Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service was established. Now, the absence of this facility makes it impossible for the police to be able to properly preserve volatile digital evidence. And this is according to the Cyber Crimes Unit. Now, the purpose of the Cyber Crimes Unit is to, when they gather evidence, to be able to preserve them. And some of these evidence will be images, media, and data, and to preserve the original copies. And to be able to do this, they would need this digital forensic laboratory, which they do not have. And they said it involves making forensic images or forensic copy of original media, conducting the analysis on the copy. Now, if the evidence is not kept properly in a forensically sound environment, then both the media and the data could be corrupted. This is a statement to the graphic business from the Cyber Crimes Unit of the Ghana Police Service, saying they have a problem. So 2015, we set up the Cyber Crimes Unit to deal with matters relating to cyber crimes in the country. Now, an important unit such as this
Cyber Crimes Unit, it needs a forensic laboratory, a digital forensic
digital laboratory,
which is a very important
thing. But of course, they also mentioned that 82% of all cases reported relate to fraud. And these the victims are usually people who are in love, romantic relationship, investment, advance fee payment, email compromises, identity theft, mobile monies, social media impersonation, all of that. So many of them.
So nowadays, you don't even know who is real. For the past few days, I've had some people calling me. They say they are from Dubai, they are from Group. They want to do some investments. They want to offer something.
You are host of Super Mono Show now. You have money.
Please. I say, Masa, please.
Or they could go to your friends.
You have your own local examples to learn from.
Thank you very much. They'll take me to Dubai to go and look at my jobs. Thank you very much.
Our last connection with Dubai did not work well.
No. I like Ghana like that. Anyway, let's move from security and go to education.
Yes. Now, what has been the success of free SHS? According to Deputy Education Minister Osei Aduchum, free SHS has increased enrollment from 52% to 85%. You see how the jump is, very tremendous jump in there. He's saying there was a bold decision. It required a lot of money to implement it, but the government of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was very clear in its mind that would rather invest in education than engage in corruption or any of the other related events that brought very little dividend to the state. He was making this comment somewhere in Takoradi, where he's been touring some schools. The minister is in charge of both the basic and also the senior high school sections of our education system. He also said that government is preparing feverishly for the Ghanaian students who will be going into tertiary education in the year 2024, where maybe the first batch of the free SHS students will have to go for higher levels of education. The hope is that we'll have more people now getting into the various tertiary institutions, and we require space for them to be there, more schools most probably, and collaboration with the private sector, which has been complaining recently about not being able to pick up as many students as they're supposed to do so. Now that question is important. The question also, Jermaine, in this case is that making the element of financing free is important, but what are we assured of? The quality that the people are getting as they go up. Let's not forget, on the average, almost 70% of the students who sit the WASSCE fail. They don't get
70%.
They don't go to the tertiary institutions.
No, is it because of lack of capacity in the tertiary institutions, or it's because the students don't make the grade?
Of course, I mean, if they made proper grades, that unlike their colleagues that made it there.
No, but you see, Raymond, there's an argument there. You know that when they are using the grading system for BCE, for instance, what they do is that they pick the top 4% and they make it A1.
Yeah.
And then it graduates downward and downward and downward, so the bottom percentage gets F9. So technically speaking, though we all know it won't happen, if the worst BCE candidate gets 85%, 85% will be F9.
Yeah.
Yes. In that case, is it because there is no space to get those students in, even though people are doing well, or they are genuinely not doing well?
No, let's put it this way.
Talk to me.
If this were 1988 or probably 2002, would have been a very laudable one.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because the various schools, there are close to 70 private schools in the country today. 2 private schools.
Private senior high schools.
No, I'm talking about private
Junior
tertiary schools.
Tertiary institutions.
Yes,
Sorry.
are all having space to absorb people,
Okay.
and yet don't get even the students to enroll in these particular schools. Secondly,
But there's
they
a
are
cost
also
barrier there. There's a cost barrier there.
Even
remember.
the public schools, there are distance education programs for virtually most of these education. In fact, the University of Ghana virtually tripled its admission just to get people on distance education
Charlie,
alone.
only me,
So, really,
yeah, so there's performance. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Malik, let's move from those issues. Charles Miss, you exonerated or not?
It depends on who you're asking. So if you're asking the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service, he's exonerated.
Okay.
If you're asking Special Prosecutor, the Citizen Vigilante Martin Alamisi, Kaiser Benz, Amidu, he's not.
But he himself, he said that the CID crowd, they are wasting their time.
Yes, so the CID issued this statement saying, well, they wanted Anas and his team, Anas and his Tiger IPI to cooperate with them, give them the raw footage of the video so that they could make a determination whether or not the allegations that they made against Mr. Charles Bisu, who was the secretary to the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining and a presidential staffer, and the regional secretary of the MPP for the Western region, whether or not he was culpable for those allegations. The Anas and his Tiger IPI said, well, to the extent that by the time the Ghana Police Service decided to act as busybodies and get involved in this investigation, they had already sent a petition to the Office of Special Prosecutor, and they were cooperating with that office, went there and testified. Martin Amidu confirms all of this. He actually says that Anas personally wrote to him indicating his willingness to appear and testify, and that he made the testimony. He brought the other evidence that they needed. Of course, Mr. Bisu was also invited by the Office of Special Prosecutor. He went there and testified. But Matamidi found out that the CID was going to conduct investigation. He wrote to them, copied the Interior Ministry, copied the Jubilee House, saying any attempt to investigate this matter will amount to interfering with my work.
Hey.
The police responded and said, well, the Environment Minister said that we should go ahead with the investigation. Matamidi says, but a minister has no power to determine who does what investigation.
Exactly.
These investigations are within the jurisdiction of the Office of Special Prosecutor. CID has no jurisdiction to investigate this matter. Nonetheless, the CID went ahead. They said that the Environment Minister asked them to investigate it.
So who does the CID report to?
Well,
the police are ranking in this case. But you know, the interesting part in all of this is that many Ghanaians would have preferred Martin Amide do this investigation. Because we have virtually seen what the CID has done in times past, especially.
No, but do you know that? Do you know what it? Do you know in the end what it means?
Yes.
It means that if the police finished, and even if they found Charles Bisu liable, they will hand it over to who? The Attorney General.
Yes.
And the Attorney General then has to begin prosecution, like it has not begun in the case of the banking saga, where Yoko has finished. Do you understand?
So come and join the queue at the back.
But then one more point which is very curious is that now the CID indicate in their statement that Tiger API didn't cooperate with them and didn't give them the raw footage of the video, but they came to a conclusion that there was no culpability. So you are relying on inconclusive evidence to make a conclusion that somebody is culpable or not.
But at least they let us know that the Tiger IPI did not respond to them.
But Tiger IPI said
this will not be the first time that the CID is basing their evidence on inconclusive, because we know the kids from Takadi are still not hearing us. They made very conclusive statements based on very little information that they had.
They are cooperating with Office of Special Prosecutor. And they have actually petitioned that office and submitted all evidence to them. They didn't see why they should come and submit same to the police.
So my only concern is what Martin Amidu says, that this investigation by the CID will not just be a duplicity of efforts, it will actually interfere with his work. That means that the integrity of his work could be compromised by this one, which is why we should be careful.
He says that his investigations are going on. He doesn't care whatever conclusions the police have reached.
So, for example, if you go to court
Raymond, you know
and they present evidence to you.
Raymond, you know something. Let's go online, okay? The online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. Hey, my people, when they make your day productive by relying on quality fuel from Goyle, your 3-time CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. Goyle Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you are guaranteed extra quality with our fuel analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of Goyle's 360 service stations nationwide. And experience good energy. Buy Goyle, Grow Ghana. Goyle Good Energy. Goyle Yenara Yedia. Now, when it comes to traveling with ease and comfort, Zenith Bank's wide array of MasterCard and Visa cards will help you do just that. You can conveniently use your Zenith MasterCard and Visa cards at over 33 million Visa and MasterCard branded ATMs worldwide, on the internet for online purchases and payments, in shop for payments of goods and services at all Zenith Bank ATMs, and on local and international POS or retail outlets that accept Visa and MasterCard. Sign up today, or if you already have one, use the Zenith MasterCard and Visa cards for a great travel experience. Go light with Zenith Bank. It's faster and smarter. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Imagine a funeral finance plan that puts you in control from the start. That's what the Enterprise Funeral Finance Plan Unlimited does. With the Enterprise Funeral Finance Plan Unlimited, you have no limits and no restrictions. You are free to choose your premiums, policy lifespan, beneficiaries, and even your benefits. No age restrictions and no lapse. Sign up for the Enterprise Funeral Finance Plan Unlimited today for your own good. Enterprise, your advantage. Akufo-Addo administration has the worst press freedom record. 1,000 fires. That's on myjoyonline.com. Listen to some of that fire.
You need to come together. And unless you all come together and fight this whole thing together.
So you're prepared to take this back to the Supreme Court?
Absolutely. It reminds me of a Dubois Hin's culture of silence.
Really? A Dubois Hin's culture of silence? Which world would we be in if Joy FM was not able to bring you the stories that shape the country, the stories that have caused sole commissioners to be appointed, the stories that have caused Justice for All programs to be set up? Really? So tell me.
Those roles to be fixed in Lekma. The stories that have caused MBU to be built in Kofanoti.
So which world would we be in?
They say you saw a contract and went to do the Lekma program.
But even
the MP did not see contract. The MC did not see contract.
I had to tell the MPs. Okay, media houses in Ghana join hands in #Demand Free Media, Defend Media Freedom campaign. We'll be hearing from Dr. Charles Rikubobe later on the show. BBC.com has stray bullet kills Nigerian journalists covering clashes. So the media freedom question is not just limited to Ghana. We'll be right back. Stay with us.